So welcome to January and February's edition of the Audition Diaries, where I take you through my honest experiences auditioning as an actor active in the industry. And I'm filming this a tiny bit into January, and it's already been really busy, so I feel like I've learnt a lot. I have also received contact from people explaining a bit of feedback as to why I'm not being seen for certain things, so I have learnt a lot. There's a lot of lessons that I have taken away so far from this year, and we're not even a month in. So it's very exciting and I'm feeling very positive about the new year, and as always, this is an open, honest conversation about auditioning and life as an actor, so feel free to join in the comments and we can go through auditions together and learn about the industry. And I feel like I've already been seen for some quite interesting things as well, like big things, and I'm like, that's mad, that's so exciting. And something else that's going on last day of January, first day of February, that I've actually known about from the very beginning of the year is that I'm doing a student film. So it's nice to go into this year already knowing that I've got a student film, and I've got a student film just because I taped for a different student film and another student has heard about that tape, seen that tape and offered me something else, which is nice to know that like you can audition for something and not get it, and then that's putting yourself out there and then you can get other opportunities from that, because I feel like a lot of opportunities that I get or a lot of conversations I'm in are purely to do with people who I've met and not necessarily always to do with the auditions. Like, the auditions are a big part of this industry, but also sometimes you meet people and people want to work with people they know and people they trust, and I'm really grateful to have had opportunities that way as well, or opportunities purely from sending in my spotlight. I'd really like to be seen for TV more, and by certain casting directors as well. So what I'm thinking is, once I've done a project that I feel happy with and I feel like it's really really exactly my casting type as well, is that I'll then email and update casting directors, because I've heard that you email casting directors when you have something to update them on, like a new show reel or a new project you've done or new headshots. So I'm hoping to find those moments, and as soon as those moments happen, I will be contacting and I will be like, please see me, please audition me, because I feel like you can't just wait for the phone to ring. So I'm really going to be pushing this year to try and be seen for TV a lot more, because I would really like to get my first TV credit, and I'd like to be working more regularly, because I'm aware that I'm turning 23 this year and I'm going to be aging out of certain roles, so I need to work fast, act fast. So that's what's going on, and please do subscribe to see how things happen this year, because I would really appreciate it. The numbers on this channel really do help me as well, and I'll give you my monthly updates now. So the first 2/3 of January actually felt really busy, and then the last third felt quite empty. I don't think I really had any auditions then, but it was interesting because sometimes people say that there's a slow start to the year, but for me, at points, I was balancing like 5 tapes at once. But I taped for 7 different things, and I also did an in-person audition, and I feel like the in-person audition taught me a lot, because it was like lots of different people doing monologues, and I was 25th out of 28, so I feel like I learned a lot, because it's a monologue that I use a lot, but it taught me a lot about how I am in those kind of situations when I have to wait for a long time, and when also there's the idea that, like, obviously, like, it's natural that sometimes you might then be running over and running low on time in the audition period, so making sure that you don't internalize that feeling is something that I battled with myself. And I feel like because the energy was quite low, because it was towards the end of the day, I feel like that's taught me a lot in me wanting to find more ways to be able to combat that and still be able to perform at my best regardless of when I'm performing in a line of people. But I feel like that's teaching me a lot about myself in the audition room, so it's really useful. So like, I was grateful to have so many opportunities to tape for, but then that meant that obviously like you get 1 in 52 that you tape for, so then I got lots of rejection emails all at the same time, which I'm really grateful to be hearing back from, because there's sometimes you never hear back. But I did start to like get in my head a tiny bit, but then I got to second round of RADA, and if you've seen this channel, you will have seen that I've documented my thoughts and process of like a few years of drama school auditions, and in those years I was getting rejected first round from basically everything, which is sort of normal when you're like 17, 18, like they want someone a bit older and with a bit more experience. So the fact that I am becoming that and I'm proving that I can get recalls at big name schools, I feel blessed, and even if I don't go any further in the process, it's quite affirming to know that I can get to second round of RADA, second round of 4 rounds. So I'm really grateful for that, and I've taped for a variety of different things. I've taped for shows that are doing like summer tours. I've taped for various different things where, to be honest, I think they would quite like people who have had experience doing their style of like summer tours before. So I feel like I can't criticize myself too much. Like, they also said they had record numbers of tapes in, because some of these were like open calls as well. So the fact that I'm not getting through to the next round, like there will be plenty of people who are also not getting through to the next round. And also, in a crazy turn of events, like I wanted to be auditioning for big things. I had a tape for something West End, which is like something that I never like thought would be something that would be really attainable this year. I don't know, I thought that West End was really hard to get seen for, so I'm really grateful for it. And I didn't get any further in the process beyond like getting invited to tape and then getting rejected, but they were really nice in the email, and maybe I'll get seen for more things to do with them. And also I think it's important to remember that even people who have been in the West End multiple times, sometimes they also get rejected first round after taping for something West End. So I think it's okay, and I'm really grateful that I've had the opportunity to tape for theatre. I had the opportunity to tape for a short film. I've also been singing loads in tapes, which used to really make me feel quite nervous, but the fact that I can just go out there, do it, and like get that done without too much concern anymore is a really nice thing to be able to have, because I think before I used to get so much more in my head about like what I needed to be. But I think there's still a lot that I can learn with that, like making sure that I'm always vocally at my peak when I'm recording it, and like I do it 3 times and then I pick between them, so being able to get more confident in my ability to pick between the tapes would be useful. And also I think sometimes when I'm using the backing track and I'm recording, like the sound is not the best sound quality, so I might look into at some point getting a singing reel, because I think that would be useful to just have like a certain audition cut that I can send into stuff. Like that would be so much easier. But I feel like I've done singing lessons for over 4 years, but when's the point when you feel like, oh, I'm a singer now and I can get a singing reel? But I think it would be about time, because a large portion of these tapes involved singing. And also there was a company that I have auditioned in person for, I've also taped for a lot of times, and they ask for a written statement about you as well, and I got feedback because I've taped for them a few times and I haven't got in the room a few times, so I got feedback from that, and I feel like I could share that because that was really useful and really kind of them to share some specific feedback. And I feel like getting feedback in this industry about auditions is quite rare, so I'm really grateful, and I think it's really useful to understand from that kind of perspective, so I'll share that now. So welcome to my audition feedback debrief. I have the email here. There were actually quite a few emails, which I was blessed to have like a little chat over email, and I'm really grateful for this feedback. So basically what I have done is every time I apply for this job, I mention my most relevant experience, which is now in 2021, but it's a very specific kind of theatre, which like I have more experience in my 2021 project. But what they were saying is that you have not included any additional information, and basically you've told us you work at the Sea Life Centre about 6 times, and we know that. So it's interesting because I try to tailor applications to the specific role and outline my experience for that role, but actually I'm forgetting that, like, when you're contacting people and you're attaching like a supporting statement, it's a narrative. Like, you might not be getting a conversation back every time you apply, but they will have a file on you, and I think I need to treat every interaction in this industry like I'm updating their file. It's like something we do at National Youth Theatre. Like, every year all of the members have a casting day which you can go to, and then like they update their information on you if you've had like new skills and like you've become a better actor and stuff. Like, they can update information about like all of these different additional things that you do on the system. So I think I need to apply that to everything. And I actually asked the question of like, this is what I've done recently, but I didn't think it was entirely relevant to your project, so what do you think? And they said that actually it's more relevant because of the time frames and recent experiences. Like, they want to know who you're hiring and how much professional experience you've had recently. So even if it's not entirely related, they want to know who you are now, because otherwise it looked like I hadn't done anything for about 4 years, which I didn't realise, because actually if they ask for a statement, apparently often they don't look at your spotlight even if you've attached it, just so that it's fairness across the board. So I was attaching my spotlight and just pinpointing the narrative of different relevant experiences, because I've heard that like you should use your email to define the narrative. You shouldn't allow your spotlight to define the narrative about who you are as an actor. You should make sure that you make that clear to them yourself, and you know who you are as an actor, what kind of projects you're looking to do, and like you're very intentional with that. But like, we then had a conversation about what I'd been doing recently, because I actually hadn't treated it like a conversation every time I applied. I was like, here's my relevant experience. I worked at the Sea Life Centre, 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 which is not good, but it's good to know these things. So by the end of February, I will have done 8 auditions. So I thought I'd talk a bit about the experience, because I've actually been working at my theatre job, so I feel like it's taught me a lot with finding within your changing routine a way to get tapes done, because a large portion of my tapes, as always, the luck is that as soon as you're working or as soon as you've got something else on, you then have like loads of tapes. So I was doing them in the morning and then going in for like a double show date and then coming back, but like it was a show where there was a lot of waiting around between things that we needed to do, so being able to bring in the scripts and learn the scripts in my free time was actually really useful. But I've also over January and February been focusing a lot more, sort of accidentally, I've been going to a lot more industry events like screenings, film festivals, play readings. So I've been meeting loads of new people, like loads and loads of new people. I feel like I've met people who I could potentially work with in the future, and I've connected with a lot of interesting people regardless in the industry, which is really nice and really inspiring and motivating. And I'm thinking about making my own work, and I'm also talking with other people about their projects and what they want to create, and I'm really using my network to be able to like talk through ideas with people, because I've realized we have free will and we can actually just make our own work if we want to and if we put the work in. So that's nice. And I feel like I've also been considering more like unpaid opportunities, because I feel like sometimes I have been avoiding unpaid theatre if it's more than like a couple days time commitment. But actually I think sometimes if it's a good standard and it's working with emerging professionals who you could work with in the future, like I'll consider auditioning for that, because also you can invite industry people to it, and it's good to get that practice in of being on stage and exploring interesting pieces. And also like we do acting because we like acting, so if there's an opportunity to do a fun project and I can fit it into my schedule, I'm gonna take it. But I feel like it has been an interesting month, because like at the start of the month I was doing more like January like musical elements to my tapes, but towards the end of the month I feel like it's more sort of a lot of student films, like a lot of short films are casting around this time of year for me personally. But let me know how your audition process and like experiences have been, like how's the industry been for you at the start of 2026. Keep me updated in the comments and subscribe to stay updated with me, please. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you hopefully soon. Thank you, bye.